This 1 Degree Outside video is sponsored by the Topsfield Fair, America's oldest fair. You can pre-order your admission, meal, and ride tickets today at topsfieldfair.org and join the fun October 4th through 14th, conveniently located on Route 1, just off of Interstate 95.
Well, good morning, Matt Noyes, Tuesday morning. And as we get things started out, the weather's pretty quiet, but at the same time, there's a lot going on that's fun with regard to natural sciences today. And we're going to cover that here in Noyes' notes. There's a partial lunar eclipse coming up tonight. Moonrise will be about 6:46, so right about 6:45. It's called the harvest moon or the corn moon, and the eclipse is going to peak at 10:44 p.m. This is just a partial lunar eclipse, which means just part of the moon is blocked by the Earth's shadow. But nonetheless, it'll be fun to see if you're going to be up that late. And then it goes by after that. But the actual full moon is right around that same exact time, too, which is kind of neat. It is a supermoon, a little bit closer, a little bit brighter than it normally would be. Have you noticed, by the way, that some of the leaves are starting to turn already? Now, some of that, the swamp maples would be doing that anyway. But for a lot of these trees that are starting to see the color come, it's almost like a brownish orange, right? There's some stress going on because of the dry weather we've had lately. So if you've been noticing it, it's not your imagination. It's the trees responding to the recent dry weather, which looks to continue for the most part. So patchy fog in spots this morning because while the air may be dry overall, we've cooled the temperature down to the dew point to measure the amount of moisture in the air, and that's what makes the areas of fog. Something to be at least aware of this morning as you're out and about. And other than that, I think we go from the long sleeve to the short sleeve and the shorts. Something everybody could do today as we feel like 85 later, at least on average in New England. The reason I say that is because if you're from Plymouth down in New Bedford, running along the south coast or onto the Cape and the Islands, we've got a light wind out of the southeast today. It's off the ocean. It's going to keep us a little bit cooler than everybody else. The farther north and west you go, the warmer it gets. Some cirrus clouds, some high wispy clouds coming in, often a sign of change in the atmosphere. And, this time around, it's to some extent the case. Some of us have an increased chance of showers as we head into late Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But boy, I tell you, any cirrus clouds don't stop us from getting 87 degrees in Manchester, New Hampshire, 85 at Laconia, 83 in Manchester, Vermont. The farther north you go, we are into the 80s in the mountains with a light and variable wind, and the summits will be running in the 70s today as well. It's a fantastic day across northern New England. That goes across northern Maine, where the summer warmth rolls on. 85 at Fort Kent today, 84 at Presque Isle. No influence of the ocean, so that's a big part of it. And in the 80s for our Canadian provinces, for those of you that are watching from there as well. Overnight tonight, temperatures drop down to the 50s. There may be just a touch of fog in spots near the south coast or at the coastline as the dew point. The measure of the amount of moisture in the air does start to rise a little bit. And you may notice a twinge of humidity as we get into later Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Nothing like what we had earlier in the summer, but that'll be there. And that raises the chance of showers in parts of southern New England for us to the end of the week, too, which you'll see on our app and you'll see in the Insights video. So I'm going to bring you that Insights video, that deeper dive into the next several days of weather, kind of explaining the meteorology behind the forecast. Coming up later on this morning. You can always look for that, not only in our social media with the number 1 degree outside at our social media handles, but also on our website. Of course, everything's there, onedegreeoutside.com. Hope you have a great start to your day. See you again in just a little bit.